Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dexion the Gamer, and here we are with Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and we are going to be going over our settings for our test, and everything is going to be on the Epic preset. As you can see right here, going to be using DLAA to start so we can get a baseline, and as well as 1440p. VSync disabled, display mode is going to be full screen, everything else set to Epic, as you can see here. Just a word of note, I did have to use DLSS swapper to again inject DLSS 4. The game comes with DLSS 3.7. Not sure if everybody knows that, but if you're using DLSS in this game, it is not DLSS 4. So again, you'll have to go to the app, the Nvidia app, or the DLSS swapper app, and input or swap in DLSS 4. Alright, so let's get into some testing to see what the RTX 5080 and the 9800 X3D can do for this game. Let's get into it. Alright, so we're starting out in the prologue section of the game. And first impressions, it is running at roughly 64 frames a second. And, it's not terrible at all. It's not super smooth like it could be. But, this is a pretty graphically intense game. It is using Stutter Engine 5. Excuse me, I mean Unreal Engine 5. And it is using Nanite and Lumen, so while it's not using hardware ray tracing, it is using the software version of it from Unreal Engine 5. So without doing too much to start with, we're just going to run around and get a quick feel for how it feels here. Jumping is great, yep. And also, what I want to do is, I guess I can't progress anywhere further without talking to her. That's okay. So yeah, 64 FPS, it's playable. And again, this is 1440p with DLAA, and it is DLSS 4. Just to make sure everybody knows, again, the game comes with DLSS 3.7. It does not come with 4. So you do have to swap that in. So what I'm going to do in usual fashion is I'm going to just leave it here at this scene so I can lock the FPS, or get close to locking it. So it's stabilizing at about 77, and GPU power is 245 watts. So to me, it's sleeping. Core clock is 2865 megahertz. That's on the stock settings for the Gigabyte Gaming Edition. VRAM usage is really good. It's 7.2 gigs. That's amazing for a modern game that looks this good. CPU usage 22%, CPU temp 50 Celsius, 54 watts. Not really doing a whole lot to stress out the hardware. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in our 1440p boost with the 375 core 2000 VRAM, and let's see the results. Alright, so we are back, and we went from about 77 frames a second up to 84, 85. Looks like we touched 85 for a second there, and it's stabilizing at about 84. I'll leave the percentage gain down below. And temps still look good. We're 59 Celsius, 3240 megahertz. Our GPU output wattage did go up to about 260 now, so it is working a bit harder. So yeah, that's always good to see just from adjusting some sliders. So while we have it, let's check out what DLSS 4 can do for the game, and let's check that out now. So again, we are looking at 105 frames a second now with DLSS quality. So that's a really big improvement at 1440p. And graphics wise, fidelity wise, it looks about the same as before. I don't see any muddiness or any loss of quality. From just walking around the game right now, all the textures look just as good as they were before. So with a 5080, I would keep it here if you want really smooth gameplay. I mean, this is a turn-based style RPG adventure game, so you're probably not going to need the highest frame rate possible, but it is good to have, obviously. So there is no frame gen in this game. Who knows, it might come at a different update, a later update. There also is no reflex in this game, so we cannot see our PC latency. But I can tell you just right now, the game feels really snappy with the DLSS quality preset. I'm going to do the sound test for you on a button click. Yeah, that's really, really fast reaction timing. You know, just from the seat of the pants feel. Alright, so yeah, 1440p DLSS quality looks like a winner to me with this game here. And now we're going to see what this thing can really do by kicking it up to 4K. Alright, so we are live and we are here in 4K DLAA at the prologue section here. And just moving around, getting a feel for it. This is definitely the cinematic feel. And you know, we're in the low 30s as far as frame rate. This is a pretty high detail scene right here. Bunch of foliage, lots of different textures, lighting, textures off in the distance. So, you know, you can play the game at this frame rate here, but I wouldn't personally myself.
Come on.
Textures look really good. Everything looks really high quality. And if you just take a look at the gentleman, Gustav, in this shot right here, you know, that's about as good as it's going to get. So this is going to be your baseline. So we are at this scene at about 42 frames a second. GPU power is about 300 watts. 2850 megahertz on the clock. And we are just shy of 10 gigs in VRAM usage at 4K. Again, that's really impressive. Unreal Engine 5 is really, really efficient when it comes to VRAM usage. And this is usage, it's not allocation. We can't see the latency right now because this game does not have reflex. It does not have frame gen. So we just got to go with the seat of the pants feel. And I can feel a little bit of a delay. I'll do the button press for you so you can hear the sound. Yeah, so yeah, there's a little bit of a delay there. So I think, you know, the game is playable here. You're gonna get the absolute best fidelity, but let's see if we can add in some overclocking to see if we can boost this up a little bit here. All right, so we are back here, and so we did. It looks like we gained a couple of frames a second here, I would say. Not a huge bunch. Just looking back here, maybe it went from 42 to about 48 frames a second. Zooming in goes down to about 45, but I know going from 42 FPS to 45 is actually a pretty big jump because we were at such a low FPS range here. And I'll put the difference down on the screen below here. So what I can say is it's, you know, not dipping into the low 30s anymore. So yeah, that is a big jump. I'm seeing, remember before getting about 33, I believe it was at the low. Now it's hovering around 40. So far so good. As far as button jumping, button mashing, yeah, you can still see a little bit of a delay here. It's not as bad as it was before. It's definitely a little smoother. So as far as statistics, we got VRAM usage at 8,400 megabytes. That's actually really good. 8,400 megabytes at 4K native without using any upscaling. That's really, really good. You know, again, shout out to Unreal Engine 5. The potential is there for games to be really optimized. And I hope more AAA studios take note, because it's possible. It's possible to achieve very high quality, image and stability and fluidity at the same time. You don't need to have your game to be a stutter fest, and you honestly don't even need hardware ray tracing. The game does use Lumen, which is basically what's known as screen space ray tracing, which is a much more optimized form of ray tracing. So it does use the global illumination, and it's not dragging down the performance down to the low 30s and high 20s like you would see in a path tracing game. So yeah, so far so good with graphical quality and fidelity here. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to turn on some upscaling, and I'm going to keep Gustav and Maele like this in frame to see what kind of improvement we can get. All right, so now we are up to the 70s as far as frame rate, so that is a pretty decent jump. As far as quality, don't really see any noticeable downsize in quality here. Again, this is using DLSS 4, so it is very sturdy as far as the image quality is concerned. And just walking around, oh yeah, the game feels much smoother now. Those button presses are coming in instantly. Yeah, so that's clearly a lot better. And image quality, nothing looks muddy out in the distance. Nothing looks sizzly, or nothing is off-putting. There's no crazy glitching going on. Melee's hair looks okay. Gustav's hair looks fine. It's not, unstable or anything like that. Yeah, it looks really good. So this is pretty decent. So what I'm going to do is take it down to DLSS balanced to see if we can keep the same level of quality and gain some more performance. So let's check it out. All right, so we are back, and we are using now DLSS balance using the DLSS 4 swapper, and we have gotten now closer to 80 frames a second. Just right there for about a second. Keeping it closer to the mid-high 70s, really good. The snappiness in the game is definitely there. This is really smooth in my opinion. Just kind of panning the camera around. I'm looking for distracting stuttering, distracting frame time differences. And if you're getting, frame times of below 20 milliseconds, that's gonna look really good to your eyes. So yeah, so far so good. I think I would use this as my go-to as far as a good mix of quality and performance, running it at 4K. But nevertheless, we're going to crank it down using DLSS performance, and we're going to look at the image quality and see what we get here. All right, so now we are at DLSS performance, and one thing I can note is the power usage on the GPU definitely has been going down. So, that's one good thing about using DLSS is your power consumption is going to be much lower. And that is good for players who have lower capacity power supply units. An 850 or 750 will do just fine, or a 4080 if you plan on using DLSS and keeping the GPU power under 300 watts. A CPU like 7800 or 9800 X3D, you're not really going to see too much CPU power when you're playing a game. So you really can squeeze that into a smaller capacity power supply. All right, well, back to image quality here, Gustav. When he is a little bit further off into the distance, I can slightly tell a little bit of softness in his face, his pores, the suit, and everything. But honestly, it does still look pretty good. It's just a little bit softer than what we had before. If you look at the boardwalk here in the distance, it is a little bit softer than what we had with quality and balanced. But it's still really good. You're getting, the 80s right now as far as your frame rate walking around here. really snappy performance. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it at DLSS balance as my recommendation for 4K gameplay using epic settings. Yeah, I think this is going to give you the best of both worlds as far as image quality and stability and also performance. I can play a game like this all day in the mid 70s to 80s as far as frame rate. For a turn-based style RPG or adventure game such as this, not really going to need a whole lot of frame rate. But what you will need is responsiveness, because this game does have button timing. So we're going to see that in a little bit. But at this level here, I'm just going to do the sound test again for you so you can hear me hitting the jump button. Yeah, so that's all good. So yeah, this is my recommendation for 4K gameplay. Everything looks great. And what we're going to do now is just enjoy some gaming. And if you get any type of benefit out of these videos, please give a like and subscribe. I am going to be uploading more as the time allows. I'm going through all my collection here and future titles as well. So thanks again for coming to my channel, and let's just sit back and relax and enjoy some game.
Come on, you're not going to forget your flower here, are you? All right, let's go. I'll accompany you there. Are you ready to see her again?
Yeah. Been ready.
I set up these grapple shortcuts. Nice, huh? Don't tell your sister, though. I sort of borrowed the hooks from the Expedition Academy. Come on, Gustav, speed up a bit. Sophie will have already gamaged by the time you've arrived.
My head.
Can't believe Sophie already turned 33. She looks so much younger than you.
Thanks.
She's popular. I'm sure she already has a necklace full of flowers.
What?
You look tense.
Yeah, yeah.
I know what you need. A little jewel.
No.
Come on, it'll loosen you up. You can't go and see Sophie all somber and tense. And if you win, I'll give you something you can use with your Lumina converter.
All right, you're on.
Yes!
Yeah, so this part of the game is where you're going to be needing a pretty decent response time, because you are going to be using parrying and dodging. And it is really important to not have a 30 frame per second experience when you are going to be utilizing and relying on these game mechanics.
For those who come after.
You won. Now, don't you feel better? All right. Now, let's go find Sophie. I saw her near the red and white tree.
Yeah.
Oh, the plaza is lively. Why people like to celebrate the gamage is still a mystery to me, but oh well. The red and white tree. I've always found it beautiful. I don't really understand. You and Sophie broke up so long ago. But clearly you never got over her. Why'd you wait until today to say something? It's a bit late, isn't it? Sophie's down there.
Yeah, I know.
Good luck. I'll be here for you if things don't go as planned.
Thanks.
And for cutscenes, we're capped at 30 frames a second, so
The last few days meant everything.
can't do much about that.
Can we talk?
Gustav, I love you all.
That's for your, if there's room.
There's always room.
You know,
I
I'm
missed you.
sorry that... I
You
miss
don't
you
need
too.
to. Okay.
You go.
No, you.
You know how I feel? I wish things had been... You know, I often think... Another path, you know, another future.
Still can't finish your sentences, can you?
Yep, that hasn't changed.
I missed that. I never faulted you for wanting to believe. You're fighting to change things. I understand, just... in a different world, right?
We'll break the cycle, so she can't steal anyone else's future.
Stubborn people change the world, and you are the most stubborn person I know. Thank you. Walk me to the harbor?
Yes.
Wow, no stuttering when you're changing characters. That's just great.
Oh, hi, Sophie. So Gustav really did come, huh?
Yeah, he did.
I knew he would.
Shh. He might hear us.
You're a lucky one, you know?
I know that.
But he is too.
Looks like you still have a lot of flowers left.
Well, there are less and less people to buy them. I just wish you didn't have to wear one.
Tiffany.
I should finish cleaning up here and join everyone at the harbour. See you.
See you.
can't imagine what you're going through.
I'm fine.
Hmm.
I'm fine. I've lived 33 good years. Look around. We've had our whole lives to prepare. We're all fine. Mostly.
I'm not fine.
You will be.
Alright, so here's the big test with all these NPCs walking around and talking and yeah, still pretty smooth. That's incredible. You know, these huge AAA studios can learn a lot from these little guys that keep breaking the records here. You can use Unreal Engine in a very optimized fashion. Maybe they could take a lesson here. Oh yeah, let's talk to this guy here. We're gonna get into another battle.
Oh, Sophie. What a
Thank you, Richard.
I could recognize it from miles away. It's good you're here, Sophie. I have a favor to ask of you.
Anything for my beloved sewing teacher?
We are of the same cohort. Today is my gommage. And my son and I had a fight last night. He said he wants to join the expedition. He wants to waste the last year of his life. I didn't want that for him. I used to think it was a bad choice. Today, I no longer do. I know I made a mistake. I tried to impose my views on him when he is much braver than I will ever be. So I sewed a special uniform for him. That's my last gift. Could you bring it to him?
Of course. I'll bring it to Jules.
He won't join the Gamage ceremony, but he will be at the Expedition Festival tonight for sure. Oh, but you...
Don't worry. I'll ask Gustav.
Gustav, are you back together?
For this moment. Maybe.
I'm glad. He's a good person.
Yes. He is.
Thanks to both of you. And see you.
See you.
Thanks to both of you.
See you.
Oh no, it wasn't that guy. Who was it?
Hi, Gustav. You're back. Oh, did you want to pick out a different flower?
No, the one you suggested earlier was perfect.
Oh, I'm glad. These garlands are our last farewell. I want them all to feel special. I have a garland saved for you too. But it's not a farewell garland. It will be a welcome home garland. Good luck, my friend.
Thanks, Ophelia.
Oh, Nuna's playing. You two would make a cute couple.
If you say so.
Or maybe something already happened, huh?
All right, it's this guy.
This This lady truly is exquisite.
In love?
Not quite. I am only in love with her art. My inspiration has been quite lacking recently. Nobody buys paintings anymore.
Your canvas seems quite empty.
I need inspiration. But you, I can see you're in love. With this fine gentleman, I suppose.
We broke up.
That is of no consequence in matters of love. But it is this passion I so fiercely desire in my painting. I know. How about showing me a dance of love and sorrow? I am also the official painter of the opera. Will you help me? If you inspire me, you may become the main painting of Lumiere's opera. Fantastic. You may start. Here, gorgeous lady, take this paintbrush and show me your wrath.
Okay, I guess.
Come on, dodge your lady's beautiful moves. That was splendid. One more time. Sublime. One last time. That was splendid. Splendid. I was so enthralled that I completed the painting in an instant.
It's nice to know something of us will remain in the world after today. Thank you.
It is I who should thank you. It was a moving dance. I will propose it for the new opera painting we have to do this year.
I feel it wasn't that impressive, but okay.
Love will always be impressive. Also, take this as a gesture of appreciation. I see your not boyfriend is an expeditioner. It may prove useful.
Sometimes I feel sorry for her.
Who? The paintress?
Look at her. She looks sad. Maybe she's a prisoner too, stuck in the same cycle with us. Silly her.
Only you could choose empathy at a moment like this.
It's one of the few choices I can make.
I couldn't do it.
It's okay. You don't have to.
Hi, Sophie.
Oh, Mael. I didn't expect to see you here.
I'm volunteering to help guide children who are losing their parents to the orphanage. Those who weren't registered for foster families.
How kind of you.
I guess I can relate.
Take care during the expedition. Gustav told me a lot of wonderful things about you.
About you too. I always told him you two should never have broken up.
Look at these orphans. That's where we disagreed. But I have hope that you and Gustav will change things, so no one has to go through this impossible choice again.
Yeah. Let's hope we will.
See you.
In the next life.
Something wrong?
The expeditions. What a joke. All they do is leave us here to die. They're just escaping.
You know their goal is to save us all, right?
Yes, that's what my father told me last year. Before he left for Expedition 34. And here we are again this year. We could have spent one more year together instead of wasting it away.
Your father fought to offer you a better future.
I have no future. I know it and I've accepted it. We're doomed.
You never know. This expedition might be different. There are some special people in this one.
Yeah, right.
Gustav, why don't you show her some of your fighting skills to prove her wrong?
This was weak. This was weak. This was weak.
All right, now we can do it.
This was weak. For those who come after.
That's...
Took me long enough to figure that out.
They all train their picto skills very hard to save us all. And so did your father.
Then, Madame, why didn't you join?
Me? I'm content with my life. I know what I can and cannot change. Or maybe because I was afraid.
Do you think I should join the expedition?
My friend Ciel always says, do your best. Either it works or it doesn't. Live your life as you want.
I don't want to have regrets. I don't have that much time.
When the time comes, you'll make the right decision. I'm sure.
Thank you. Now I think I know. Give this to your boyfriend. My father gave it to me, but it might be more useful for him.
Alright, so that's going to do it for now. Thanks again, guys, for taking the time to stick with me in this benchmark and small review of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. So far, so good. as far as first impressions with the game, and definitely going to be playing this game to its natural conclusion. And again, this is a pretty decent performance for 4K as far as DLSS balanced, and you know, with all the stuff on the screen here. And we are using global illumination, which is software ray tracing. So you know, so far so good, can't really complain. All right guys, thank you so much for staying with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.